Today we got a brand new trailer featuring some of the upcoming events in the Pokemon Journeys anime, so let's go ahead and discuss it. Hey, this is GatorEX, and yes, this morning, we got an extra little trailer. Now this is going to be focusing on some of the upcoming events of the anime. It does kind of focus a good amount on the Galar Region Arc that's going to be coming up, but also some general episodes, mostly because the show, Pokemon Journeys, of course, over here in Japan, the air date is going to be changing to Fridays. So this is kind of to show off a bunch of things because there are some big events coming up, but also as sort of a reminder to be like, hey, also it's going to be changing. But regardless, there are some interesting tidbits. For one thing, the episode next week, we've got some stuff in this trailer as well. We kind of see that Zapdos is going to be in the next episode, right? And there's a separate preview for that. But in this trailer as well, we're kind of shown that it seems like both Ash, Go, and Team Rocket are going to be teaming up to battle against this Zapdos. And it does also kind of seem like it's in the power plant as well. So it seems like they're going to be in Kanto. And it's going to be like a legendary raid battle. Of course, the whole discussion of like, oh, is anyone going to catch this Pokemon? Or, specifically Go. So what happens in next episode is going to set the precedent, I guess, for some other events coming up, concerning legendary Pokemon, I guess, like in general. But, that's something interesting as well. We also get to see, for one thing, when it goes into a lot of the Galar region episodes, because I think, for the most part, that is the big portion, and those episodes are going to be starting that 4-episode arc that's going to be starting later in October. But we see a lot of interesting tidbits. For one thing, Raihan's going to be coming back. Of course, Sonia's going to be there, as we see, and as we've seen before. And, Sonia and Go are going to be kind of together for this, and that's something we saw in, that's something from the press release like a week ago. And, Ash is going to be with Leon. For one thing, we see Leon, we see his Charizard, so that's kind of neat. We see Ash riding on Dragonite's back, so that's just kind of neat to see around the building in Winden. So, and of course, that makes sense because that's where things are going to take place. Of course, we see Chairman Rose and the whole, the underground thing with Eternatus going on. So, of course, that whole plot's going to be there. A lot of the dialogue in this trailer is kind of not necessarily generic stuff, but for the most part, it relates a lot to the, to the storyline of The Darkest Day. And, The Darkest Day basically in Galar is going to be taking up 4 episodes. And, realistically, there's been a lot of discussion on whether that's too short or whether it's coming up too soon. Overall, it probably is coming up too soon. But then again, in this series, really they just jump wherever they want from region to region. As far as whether 4 episodes is enough, I think it's kind of enough because for the most part, you're not covering the exact story of Sword and Shield, because a lot of the leading up story of Sword and Shield is basically the the tournament, you as a player character being in the tournament. But then again, I guess it probably would have suited it at the end, at the final end of the entire series, Ash versus Leon, and then it gets interrupted by Eternatus. But we'll see. As far as it being too soon, I definitely do think it is a bit too soon, but I'm kind of excited for these episodes. They're going to be pretty sweet. As far as some other juicy tidbits for these episodes, we see a Gigantamax Meowth. Whether this is the Meowth, probably. One of his dialogue lines is over this image of him, of a giant Gigantamax Meowth. I think that'd be funny and hilarious if that is the case. And again, I guess kind of makes sense for an explanation for why he hasn't evolved, along with Ash's Pikachu. Also, we see Go with a Dynamax band and a Pokeball about to grow. Whether he's catching a Pokemon or Dynamaxing a Pokemon or Gigantamaxing, it's all up in the air. It'd be interesting to see him catch a Gigantamax Pokemon, but I do also, or Dynamax Pokemon, but I do also think that he's probably gonna evolve something as well. So seeing Go battle as well in this arc is interesting. There's a good chance that maybe he and Ash are in one battle together against one of the Pokemon. So we'll see how that goes, because I think it is also possible that we'll see Pikachu Gigantamax again. But whether Go's Raboot will have evolved into Cinderace by this point, which I think it is possible, that could be his Cinderace that he's Gigantamaxing. So, which is something I discussed, something I guess I kind of predicted, or not predicted, but something I said that that should happen. That Go's Cinderace should be a Gigantamax Cinderace, just because that'd be, neat to see. And I guess, they're probably going to want to do that because, it's the Gigantamax forms. It's like, you could give it to main characters, And then when we move past Sword and Shield, it won't, not that it won't matter, but it's like, okay, you know, it was a cool thing for Sword and Shield, but it doesn't necessarily change the Pokemon that much in terms of like the storyline. But that's some neat stuff. We see a bunch of the other Pokemon that are going to be Dynamaxing out of control, which, you know, that is a big thing. We see a glimpse of Eternatus, which is neat also. And again, you know, Chairman Rose with all of that stuff going on. So just some pretty neat things overall. If anyone really cared, we get to see Marshtomp and Ludicolo, which are in the new opening, as well as the promotional poster from last week. It seems like they're going to be in like a two-parter comedy episode, which I think is coming after the Zapdos episode. So in like 3 weeks technically, because of the episode schedule change. So there's that. But the last biggest thing is we knew that Mewtwo was going to be in some of the upcoming episodes. Again, this is probably going to be after the Galar Region episodes that we see Mewtwo. But he was in the poster, and we see him here. And the footage of Mewtwo that we see is pretty crazy because he's descending down, very, very similar, and probably in the exact same place as Mewtwo's castle in the original movie. The thing is, though, that castle isn't really there anymore, so unless, and especially because if he's going to be descending in the same way, that would either mean that they go back to Mewtwo's castle, or Mewtwo has built another castle or something. And, you know, that leaves a lot of questions for, I guess, canon, because, you know, at this point, Mewtwo's with all of his clone Pokemon, right, somewhere else. So, I'm thinking that this footage we're seeing is something like a flashback, but that definitely, though, I think they're going to be encountering Mewtwo in some fashion, but there's going to be like, you know, a flashback, you know, reanimated this and that, where Ash is like, oh, you know, yeah, this is a Mewtwo I met, and so on and so on. But that's still insane, though. Like, you know, everything else is great, too. Like, you know, we saw Zacian and Zamazenta. We saw the Slumbering Wild as well. And, of course, you know, that's all stuff that plays into the Sword and Shield story, which is stuff that we knew was going to happen, especially, you know, ever since, like, the first opening, or no, sorry, the second opening. Well, yeah, no, the first opening had Zacian and Zamazenta, too. But, you know, ever since we knew that there was going to be some sort of incorporation of the Sword and Shield legendaries, you know, Zacian, Zamazenta, and Eternatus. So we knew that was going to happen, and, you know, that's pretty neat as well. They do also, in the dialogue, though, in the trailer, they do also mention, you know, the storyline of Zacian and Zamazenta helping the heroes, you know, way back when. So whether that's going to be the same thing that happens, you know, basically, it's basically, well, no, not you, but Ash and Go are basically taking the place of you, the player character, and Hop from the games, which that seems like what's going to happen. So if it's in the sense that, you know, Zacian and Zamazenta show up to help them battle Eternatus, that might be pretty cool to see. And I think it probably is going to be something like that. You know, maybe we'll see them interact with the legendaries a bit more or something, you know, again, you know, kind of similar to the storyline. Maybe Ash will be buddy-buddy with Zacian, Go will be buddy-buddy with Zamazenta for at least, you know, a few episodes that they're going to be there. So that's all some pretty neat stuff. But again, you know, the Mewtwo thing is like just, I guess, out of nowhere, because we didn't know this was going to be happening until, you know, we got the poster. And, you know, there's a lot of discussion. For whatever reason, a few people were saying, well, you know, if Go wants to catch Mew, what if Ash catches Mewtwo? Again, you know, I really don't know how I feel about the whole catching legendaries, especially, you know, in the main series anime. But, you know, with it being Go's goal, it's something interesting. I don't think that Ash is going to be catching Mewtwo. But, again, next episode with Zapdos, whatever happens with Zapdos is going to set the precedent for every other legendary encounter in this series. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens with that. But for the most part, that's the trailer. I'm going to be watching the episode in a bit, so my discussion for that will be up later, or tomorrow technically. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Did you enjoy this trailer? What do you think about the upcoming episodes? And what would you like to see just going forward, I guess, after we finish the Galar Region Arc and whatever happens with Mewtwo, and, you know, beyond into the rest of the series? Leave a comment below. We'll continue the discussion down there. I'm also going to be reviewing the Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's episode after Pokemon, which, you know, it's been a little different, so both reviews are going to be up at the same day, tomorrow morning. So if you could check out my anime channel, that'd be great. Linked in the iCard, end card, as well, description, all of that. If you enjoyed the content, remember to leave a like and subscribe. To show your support, you can enable notifications by clicking that bell icon next to the subscribe button. This will make sure you see each new video as it comes out, and will make you a member of that Chingling squad. Anyway, this has been GatorEX. Have a nice day.